Hello and welcome to The Way to Find Calm as a Mum. I've finally managed to begin season 2 of the podcast. Ah, so welcome to the Melissa Stapleton podcast. If you're listening to this while folding washing, sitting in the car, hiding in the bathroom for a moment of quiet, or lying in bed feeling wired but exhausted, I'm really glad you're here. This podcast is not about fixing you. It's not about becoming a calmer, better, more productive mum. It's about remembering that calm isn't something you earn. It's something your nervous system needs help returning to. I'm Mel, and this space exists for the mums who look like they're coping on the outside, but on the inside they feel tense, overwhelmed, snappy, numb, or constantly on. I like to um, I like to link it to that meme that we've all seen. That's like, I have all of the tabs open, but I can't feel where the music is coming from. And before we go any further, I want you to hear this clearly. Before we go any further, I want you to hear this clearly. If calm feels out of reach for you, it's not because you're doing motherhood wrong. It's because your nervous system has been in survival for too long, and we need to find that nervous system baseline back to calm. So many mothers come to me saying things like, I should be able to handle this. Other mums seem to manage fine. My favorite is, I just need to get along with it, even though like you're clearly struggling. Um, all of those kind of things. I should be able to handle this. Other mums seem to manage fine. I've tried the strategies, the routines, the mindset work. Why do I still feel like this? And what I see again and again is not a lack of effort, not a lack of strength. I see women who grew up learning to be emotionally responsible for others, women who learn to stay hyper aware, to people please, to keep it together, women who never really learned what it felt like to be held, to gain support. Motherhood didn't create this, it revealed it and unraveled it. And that's why calm can't come from another checklist, another productivity hack. It has to come from rebuilding our internal safety first. And that is why I created this podcast and my work. It's all about coming back to calm within your nervous system. So today I thought I would take the time to introduce my framework, my method, which is called coming back to calm. So everything I share here is grounded in my coming back to calm method, which is a gentle nervous system led framework designed specifically for mothers. It's not about doing more, it's about coming home to yourself. Now, there are 3 pillars to this work. I've named them reclaim, rebuild, and reignite. And I want to today to walk you through them, not as goals to achieve, but as invitations. So, pillar 1, reclaim. Reclaim is where everything begins. This is the phrase or the phase where we stop asking, what is wrong with me? I remember a time where I would consistently be like, there's something wrong with me. Everybody else has things that I don't have, etc., etc. So if you're in this phase, I totally see you. I want you to start asking yourself, what is it that I have been carrying alone? Reclaiming is about reconnecting with you beneath the roles, the expectations, the guilt. It's learning how to regulate your nervous system when it's been living in fight or flight. It's understanding why rest feels uncomfortable, why stillness feels unsafe, why slowing down can bring up emotion instead of relief. In Reclaim, we focus on a few things and it's tailored to you, but we really want to focus on creating internal safety, gentle, and really, really useful nervous system resets that you can do. I like to use the breath because we don't need another thing for the breath. It's very available to us. Releasing the belief that your needs are a burden. I have a few reels coming on how a lot of the nervous system struggles that mums have that I see is because we're depleted nutritionally. We've been told as a culture that we don't need to eat, but we do need to eat. How my life could have been so different if I had have been eating more as a new mum and like nutritionally filling my body up with the proteins I needed to do what I was doing, not sleeping, all of the things, right? So the next thing is remembering who you were before you learned to disappear. And this could be like as a child, like who you were as a child, or who you were at the best time of your life, right? Doesn't need to be just before you had kids. It doesn't need to be like at any specific time. It's just the focus that like remembering who you are beneath all of those layers, like how Shrek said, I'm like an onion. We need to peel back all those layers and figure out who Shrek, for use of a better term, is underneath all those layers. So this isn't about becoming calm overnight. It's about how to come back to yourself moment by moment. And I think that's super important because you want to be able to come back to a calm mum and be able to handle the challenging things moment by moment rather than consistently trying to be something that you're not. I shared a reel last night on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok about perfect being a lie. And one mum that I've known for a long time said that she thinks that it's like keeping up with the Joneses now is like not just having things, but it's like looking this perfect way, which is really sad when you look at it like that. It's really, really heartbreaking to know that mums are trying to achieve something they're never really going to get to. Okay, so the second pillar of the framework is called rebuild. Rebuild is once safety begins to return, we move into rebuild because calm doesn't last if your life still requires you to overfunction. We don't want to be overfunctioning. We want to be listening to our needs. We want to be listening to our wants, listening to our energy. So rebuild is where we gently look at boundaries that protect your energy, support you were never meant to do without, rhythms that nourish instead of draining you, not rigid routines, not morning miracles, but realistic, flexible support systems that fit real motherhood. I remember when I first started my journey, I was following a bunch of mindset coaches, and like the 75 hard is the perfect extreme example. 75 hard is not meant for mothers. If you have like an amazing support system and you can do 75 hard, amazing. But mothers are not like are not supported enough to be able to do the 2 workouts a day, the um is it only like 4 liters of water, I think. One thing that it did teach me doing the 75 hard is that the more hydrated you are, the more water your body holds on to. And that was a super valuable lesson because now I crave the hydration, not just the water, but the actual hydration. That was a super valuable experience that I did try. I didn't finish 75 hard. Don't think that I'm some kind of miracle mom. No, I did not finish it. It actually became unhealthy because I wasn't listening to my needs. If I don't get 2 workouts in a day, it's not the end of the world, right? I got on a tangent. Bear with me while I find my place. Yeah, so rebuild is like building realistic, flexible support systems that fit real motherhood, which is what we want, right? This is where we unlearn. Yeah, we unlearn that idea that doing everything yourself is a virtue. I'm just gonna repeat that again. Rebuild is where we unlearn the idea that doing everything yourself is a virtue. and we've rebuilt a life. We are not constantly bracing. So we actually want to have the life that we actually love, right? We want to have a life that we actually enjoy ourselves and our children in. Rebuild teaches your nervous system that you don't have to stay on high alert to survive. I've probably already said that, but that's really important too. And the third and last pillar is reignite. Reignite is super important for the play in my early childhood experience. If you know me personally, I love play. Play, joy, presence, connection. I had someone tell me that play can mean super different things, and I for a little bit held back from saying play, but I just think as time goes on, I noticed that you can actually go and get a play facilitation coaching certificate. And I was like, what? I already have that. I already know that. Play and agency for mums and for children is so important. So anyway, that's part of Reignite. And Reignite isn't about forcing happiness or gratitude. It's about letting color slowly come back into your world. Now, don't get me wrong, gratitude is important, but not the most important thing in this pillar of the method. So the pillar is about micro moments of joy, feeling present with your children instead of just managing them, reconnecting with yourself as a woman, not just a mother, softening back into relationships, including the one with yourself. And when your nervous system feels safe, joy doesn't feel selfish anymore. It feels more natural. So one thing I want to talk to you about is why calm feels inaccessible even when your life looks fine. You know how people will comment on how you look like you have your stuff together as a mum, which is super detrimental to your mindset as a mum, I personally think. Because what actually happens is then you think that you're doing fine from the outside, but inside intuitively you know that something's up, right? And then the impact of growing up in dysfunction, as many of us 90s millennials did, has a great weight on becoming mums again now, right? And then the emotional labor that it takes to be a mum, we are so in tune with our kids' needs that it brings up so many of our emotions that we've missed out on. And it's just we have you seen the meme where it's literally my heart walking on the outside. This is why it's such an emotional labor, because not only are you caring for your own heart or trying to, or lack of caring for your own heart, but you're also caring for someone else's heart. And it's this emotional labor of love, but then it's also so hard to work out what is needed and what is not. And the resentment that you have towards your parents for treating you certain ways, your friends for being a certain way, being a certain place, etc., your partner, whoever, those that you ask for help when you finally feel like you are safe to, and then they can't help. Oh my gosh, it is just so much. And then the invisible load of all of the things in your brain that just feel like they're going to explode. And then the other thing that I really want to talk about is nervous system regulation in real human terms. So as I said, I don't like to have tools that you have to reach to. I'm looking here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diaries. 2 are still in the packet. You can hear the packets, right? I'm not into the tools. I'm into actually using the breath. So in the nose and out the mouth through the diaphragm is the best tool you have. And you can do that anywhere because you literally take your breath with you. And even if you have to do short, sharp breaths to begin with, it's going to help your nervous system to regulate. I can remember being in the shopping center, one child tantruming, one child into the toilet, and I literally was just just use nose breathing. And then when I got home, I literally was like, and did the full proper breathing to actually support myself and my nervous system and my children, because when I can come back to calm easily and not forcefully, I'm not only helping myself but my whole family. And the last thing I just wanted to touch on is what it actually looks like to be supported, not just told to cope. So when I first got support from a coach, I've had many coaches over the years. When I first got support from a coach and not just told to cope, I actually felt like, you know how like a bird has like little bits that they run along and like stand on, and like that's how you feel when you're surviving. You're like just like running on this like almost like a pendulum. It was like that. And then when I had a coach and I was supported, I actually felt like I was in this deep like pillow of like love. And it was just such a good feeling of like, actually, I can be held. It doesn't have to be so hard. I don't have to struggle like everyone around me has for so long. So as time goes on, you can expect this podcast, this season especially, some episodes will feel like a deep exhale. Some might gently name things you've never had words for. Take what you need, leave the rest, as I say with all of my work. And before we end today, I just wanted to say one thing. You don't need to become someone else to feel calmer. You don't need to try harder. What you do need is safety. You need support. You need somewhere you're allowed to soften. If this episode felt like it was speaking directly to you, that's not an accident. You're exactly who this space is for. Thank you for being here. This season 2 of the Melissa Stapleton podcast, is called The Way to Find Calm as a Mum. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode.